Joining us now to talk about his work in the ministry of the gospel and to share his journey to this is Bishop Phillip Webbe of the St. Kitts Church of God of Prophecy. Welcome to Good Morning, SKN, Bishop.
President, good morning to you, and I am delighted to be here with such special people on this special day. You know this is a special day?
Please tell me about it. What is special about it?
Because today is day number 327, and this is Studio 327.
Oh, wow. Absolutely right.
Oh, that's nice.
You didn't make the linkage. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, special day, special guest. All right, so you were born in Nevis.
Of course, Nevis.
And I like the way you say that. Proud Nevis. Love it.
Of course,
Love it.
Nevis.
All right. So here's an interesting question, and I was joking with you about it because I was going to ask you what brought you to St. Kitts, and I answered it myself, and I said, a boat. Anyway, what brought you to St. Kitts?
Well, I got a boat because I didn't walk on water. But yes, I came to St. Kitts when I was 16 years of age. Yes, so I went to Gingerland High School. I stopped out at class 4A3. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
When you left Nevis, prior to that, you were caring for both sheep and livestock.
Nice.
Did you know that, or was it in your plans to become a pastor? And did you thought that the eventuality of caring for animals would lead you to care for humans as a pastor and a bishop?
That's a very good question. I had no clue whatsoever in that particular time that I would have been pursuing to be a pastor, so to say. But I kept livestock, as you say. I look after sheep, I look after goat, and sometimes the way in which, the goat will operate, if they get tangled up and you try to untangle them, they will give a lot of trouble.
A lot.
And so when I got into the pastoral ministry and looking after spiritual sheep, so to say, I recap and those days, but it was not in my thing in terms of becoming a pastor. God, after I came to St. Kitts, and I made a wise and intelligent decision to follow Christ.
Nice.
It just, stemmed from there. But it was not my trying to pursue to be a pastor, so to say.
All right, so I'm pretty sure our viewers want to know about that journey because it wasn't an automatic progression. So what led you into it? Walk us through those steps.
Yes, well, I was a photographer. When I came to St. Kitts, I began to work at Rams. I started my working life with Rams. And then I would do, along the side, I will do some photograph, etc. So I took pictures. I had what you call a Polaroid camera. And I was invited to a church in Newton Ground to take pictures. But it's as though that God took my picture that night, so to say. And after hearing the word of God, I took it personally that God wanted me, to change my life. So I made a wise and intelligent decision, and I gave my life to Christ, and it stemmed from there. I started when I got to Rams, and they called me that morning. One friend of mine said, Brother Philip, he said, Philip. I said, well, Philip died last night, I made a decision to follow Christ, and I invite that same, brother to it was a revival the very next night, and he also gave his life to Christ.
Oh, nice.
So my journey, started from making that decision down in Newton Ground.
And how many years ago was that?
And that is over 33 years ago.
Nice.
Yes.
So when you were called to pastor, how heavy was that burden or how light was it? And why were you assigned to the Church of God of Prophecy?
Yes, well, I grew up in the Church of God of Prophecy. I made the decision in Church of God of Prophecy. And climbing the ladder, as God began to use me, I played music in the church. I became the youth director and then the district director as a whole. And I filled so much position that the only position I think that I didn't fill was the women's leader.
Well, you could have, but you didn't. You left that vacant to someone else.
Yes.
Okay, lovely.
It's interesting that you say that. I had nothing to say when you said that. realize that. She gave permission for that. All right, so let's talk about that. You know, filling so many different hats, wearing so many different hats, rather, so many different positions. Was there ever a point in time when you thought, this is difficult, I need to step back, perhaps I'm taking on too much, or did you just think, you know, there will be tough days, there will be, you know, some easier days, I'll let God lead?
I never thought of that, you know, being difficult, because I place everything into the hands of God. And once you place everything into the hands of God, then the hands of God will be in everything. I consider that once God is in control, nothing can be out of control. So with God in the vessel, I'm able to smile at the storm, because I recognize that without God, life has no purpose. Without purpose, life has no meaning. And without meaning, life is insignificant. So what really kept me, you know, is the grace and the mercies of God. It's not that I didn't have no difficult times, so to say. I had some difficult times, but I never felt like throwing the towel and not, you know, but I had some times, you know, where you feel a little discouraged along the way, but never to, you know, put up my white flag and surrender, so to say.
Nice.
I'll have to say, starting with 5 members, how was that?
Yes, it was not easy, so to say. Probably less than 5, you know, over here, and the church was practically dead, you know. And when they asked me to pastor the church, the interim pastor, it was just like my wife had my twin boys, you know, and my daughter, etc. And we started to do some visitation, you know, in the village, open air services to try to help build the church, you know. So I was very much busy in the work of the Lord, but not too busy, because you don't want to be too busy in the work of the Lord till you forget the Lord of the work.
No, indeed.
Yeah, very.
So Pastor Webb, during the break, we were speaking about 2 of the programs that you host on Dominion Radio. Let's Have Church and Eating Healthy from God's Pharmacy. Can you tell us a bit about those programs? Yes,
well, those programs, the design is a holistic program. Is to add value, you know, and bring sunshine, you know, people who are hurting, you know, people who are, you know, going through struggles and stuff like that. I dedicate, like, let's say an hour to, you know, listen to the elderly, to the young people, you know. So we try to cater for everybody, you know, and Let's Have Church. And it's a program that I enjoy. And as a result of that, you know, I've got many fans and people all over, you know, the world, you know, and get opportunity to go to various countries as a result of the program. So the program is an interesting program, and it's a blessing to me. Eating Healthy from God's Pharmacy, you know, it's a health program that I does at Tuesday morning time, and we encourage people to eat healthy, you know, as a lifestyle. Yes. You know, just like brushing your teeth every morning becomes a lifestyle, and bathing your skin become a lifestyle, let eating healthy becomes a lifestyle. Yes. And when I say eating healthy from God's Pharmacy, because because of the interest of time, we wouldn't be able to go into details, but when you look at a walnut, it looks just like the human brain. And so God allowed and scientists shows that, our research shows that, you know, walnut enhance the brain. And if you cut a carrot, you know, it looks just like the human eye, the pupil. And research have shown that carrots is good for the eye. You look at the kidney bean. The kidney bean look just like the human kidney, and it enhances the kidney. The celery, you know, the celery is 22%, you know, calcium, and your bone is 22% calcium, and it look just like, you know. So God, you know, made these things way even before he made man. So he got specific vegetables, you know, for specific parts of your body. Even the grape, you know, it hang in a cluster, and it look just like the heart, and every grape look like a cell, you know, the red blood cell, the white, the platinums, etc. So it's really Eating Healthy from God's Pharmacy. It's a program that now, you know, taking off also.
Nice.
Oh, that's great. When we talk about the impact that social media has on your work, you mentioned as well that because of Let's Have Church, you've actually visited many different places. Let's talk about that impact. And when I say that impact, I mean like those personal stories of people actually coming up to you. And saying,
well, I will meet people sometime, like going down 4th Street. A guy met me there, and he said, do you remember me? I said, no. He said, man, you came and you visit me when I was in prison. And another person you might meet under the flamboyant tree, you passing there next to Kentucky, and somebody say, hey man, you know, you're such a blessing to me. But one day I was on my way to the radio station, and a lady came up and he said, I'm hustling to go home now to go listen to your program. So that excites me, and you know, found that it really a blessing. And so I've gotten some good testimonies. People made wise and intelligent decision to follow Christ as a result of the program. So yeah, it's a good program.
That makes it all worthwhile.
Nice, yeah.
So you're a chef, you're a songwriter, and you are also an author. Can we touch a little bit on those three?
Yes, well, the in terms of the as a songwriter, I heard you quoted a lot there, and giving Satan problems.
I love that song. I love that song.
Yes. Well, I wrote that song, you know, as a result of my personal testimony, because I used to give me mother problem.
Okay.
I was so rude, you know, just to cut a long story short. At one time, my mother was trying to beat me as a little boy, but she couldn't catch me, so to speak, because I was so swift. So I ran around the house, but she had a stick and she flung it, catch me to the back of my head. And when I put back my hand and I saw blood, I got so upset, took up a stone to knock down my mother. An elder gentleman looked over the fence and said, little boy, are you going to knock down your mother? You know, and stuff like that. And so I was that kind of a person, and I guess because it stemmed from the poverty-stricken condition, because people will heckle you in school, and so, and you know, you came. So as a result of that, God gave me the experience and the ability to write songs. And so I began to write songs, and especially, you know, songs that pertain into what is happening even in the now, you know. So, and Lord help the young people. These were songs that I have written that have been of some, you know, value to people. And also, as you say, I am also a musician, you know. In the old boys' school, I learned to play guitar. And then on my own, God just gave me the ability to play keyboard, and then the bass came in, and so I was able to play those instruments. And as you say now, in terms of writing songs, I was in Trinidad ministering, and they called me virtually every year to Trinidad to minister. So one of the ministers there told me, man, you have more than just, you know, I mean, singing ability and dancing ability and stuff like that. You need to put it in, you know, in a book. And so I wrote the book. So the Giving Satan Problem, we have the video to it also. If you go on YouTube, you'll find it. You have the book, 5 practical problem. I mean, 5 practical ways in which you could give Satan problem. That's my first book. And the second book I wrote is a small book to help the young people, because young people, they don't really read the word. So it's to help them to get into the word. So I name it Giving the Bible Attention with Intention, because it is intention that necessitates attention. Because you could give the Bible attention with no intention to accept what it's saying. And so it's a small book, you know, but it helps. And I think one of the
tackling the problem from the root.
Tackling the problem from the root, and also, those are 3 of the books that I've written so far. So.
Wow. I can't help but think about how your experience lends itself to connecting with people.
Indeed. But one more question, Jamie, sorry to interrupt. Your favorite meal? Because I'm a foodie.
My favorite meal is...
cook.
Well, it's soup. Soup, sorry, you know. Well, I mean, interesting, but I, you know, would like to put all the yam and the tanya and the, you know, all these things, you know, together, do provisions. And I will make a nice meal. My daughter, my wife will break their carrot and the job, and when they eat, and probably, you know, they give some to their friends. And when you look now, I'll go cook for people and their job.
I love it.
Very interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, but I cook for my family, you know, so when they come home, my wife and daughter and stuff, they will get something to eat.
So that means next time you have to bring some to Studio 327, right?
Nice.
One final question, Bishop. You recently received an ambassadorial appointment to the United Nations. What can you tell us about that, and what was that like for you?
Yes, I really blessed and privileged to get such a, you know, honor, so to say. As a bishop, a bishop should be someone that is, when I say not blameless in the sense of sinlessness, but you should have a good character, and you should be sober-minded and also given to hospitality. Because it's not the position that you hold that counts at the end of the day, it's how you carry yourself in the position that you hold that really counts at the end of the day. And so having, carrying this title, I wish to represent God well, to the best of my knowledge and ability, in a humble, I don't, try to feel like I'm higher than any other person because of some degree. I got a doctorate, from the seminary in Canada, etc., and then move from there, up to bishop, so to say. But I'm very humble with these position, and
Well, humility works, huh?
It sure does.
At the end of the day, you have to be humble, because that's the first order in God's kingdom. If my people, which are called, will humble for us, praise.
Yeah.
Very true.
Indeed.
Very true.